All right, fifth grade, excuse me. If you are watching this video, you are ready to begin the process of pre-writing. I want to remind you that you should have already selected a topic and now you're ready to start planning it. Hopefully you've read over the qualities of a good memoir, like I asked you to do in the introduction video, and you are ready to begin. Also, make sure that you're not choosing a graphic organizer to plan your memoir that you used in memoir number 1. So don't use the same one. Really quickly, I'm going to go through the different types of graphic organizers and talk about what I need to see when you're mapping this out. We're going to start. Notice that all of your pre-writing documents start with a 1. Obviously, your name is going to be in front of that. So you may have to hover over the document when you're looking at this, and yours will also be in your work. So you'll have to hover so you can see the whole file name. But we're going to start with this pre-writing web. We talked about this during memoir number 1, so I'm just going to summarize. This is where you take those question words, and you can see we have the who, the what, we have the when, we have the why, where is there as well. So we take those question words and we basically map them out using a web. We can't forget our theme. Remember, this is our prediction about why we think this event is significant, or why our memory has chosen to hang on to it, or possibly even your the lesson that you learned through this experience. Okay, it could be through the memory itself, or through the process of writing about the memory. Okay, who is going to be the people that are in your memoir? If you need more of these webs, or if you need to add another person, let me know. If you don't have 4 main people involved in your memoir, then you don't have to fill all of them in. The events, you absolutely should have at least 4 events. Now, if you have more than 4 events, pick your 4 main events, and then when you draft, you'll fill in with the minor events that maybe fall between those 4 events. The when and the where, these are time and place details about setting that your reader needs. So that's pretty much the web in a nutshell. I will tell you that you may need to do a better job of adding details about your people. You know that we should be able to see and hear what's going on in your memoir or in your memory. And so if you need to start making that movie in your mind in pre-writing. Okay, close your eyes, see that person in your memory, and then add the details that you know need to make it to your draft in order for your reader to be able to make that movie in their mind. Do that when you're planning your events also. Okay, I'm going to jump over to one of the other pre-writing graphic organizers. This is a plot map. Again, you're still mapping out the same things that you were in the web. Okay, you're still going to have the setting, the where, and the when. Situation and climate is just additional setting information if you want to add that, the people. Now, you'll see that you don't have a lot of room to include details about people here. So you're going to have to do that when you plan the events. If these people are involved in these events on the story map, then you're going to have to put those details there. So making the movie in your mind, and then making sure that there are details here on your graphic organizer that need to make it to your draft in order for your reader to do that. Okay, obviously the climax is the most intense moment for your protagonist. By the way, your protagonist is you, and the antagonist is the force working against you in this memoir. Conflict is the problem that arises throughout this memory, and it's usually what you're working to solve by the end of that memory. Okay, and so that would be, we would put the conflict is the problem itself, and the resolution is how that conflict gets solved. Your theme is your so what or your why. Again, this is why you think your mind and heart have hung on to this memory, or possibly the lesson that you learned through the event that you're describing in this memory. This could also be revealed to you as you write the memoir itself. So if you want to leave this blank until you get everything mapped out, this is just a prediction, but it is something that we should be thinking about from start to finish when we write a memoir. All right, and then I'm going to jump over to the last the last graphic organizer that I gave you guys to choose from. This is a timeline starting here and ending here. You can see that we have two events, and then we drop down here to the bottom. Then we jump back up to the top again, and then here. Their placement on the line determines the sequence. So make sure you pay attention to that. Again, you have nowhere to list details about people or dialogue or events here. You are just going to add them in the boxes as you describe that part of the event. And so if you need to, start at the beginning, close those eyes, visualize how your memory starts or how this experience starts, and then make sure that you put the details that a reader would need in order to hear and see what you're describing in these boxes, guys. It starts with the planning. Again, this little cloud is where you're going to put your prediction about what your theme is or your so what. This would be the life lesson that you learned through this experience, or perhaps it's your prediction about why you think your mind and your heart has hung on to it. All right, guys, really, really, really spend some good time adding good details. Again, use the strategy of making a movie in your mind and break it down into small frames as you're planning this memoir. And last but not least, I know I've said it several times, but it's important. Don't use the same graphic organizer that you did in memoir number 1. I want to see what you can do when you stretch yourself as a writer and you try new things. All right, guys, I will talk to you soon. I love and miss you. Let me know if I can help you in any way.